Hello everybody and welcome to another episode of Cape Rugby TV. It's nice to have you along. As you can see, we're of course back in studio and talking club rugby as we always do. Big thanks of course to our partners on board with us, Score Energy Drinks and MChem 24-hour Pharmacy. You'll of course remember Score is the official partner to the Western Province Club Rugby Sevens, and MChem 24-hour Pharmacy on the corner of N1 and Durban Road in Belleville. Right, so folks, of course you'll know it was the Score Western Province Club Rugby Sevens about 3 weeks ago at Newlands, which was a fantastic opportunity for the clubs to get together. But what we did not have a time during the live broadcast and the live streaming and the run-up to the at least the draw was we didn't have a time really to speak to the coaches from the various Sevens team. So tonight we're going to catch up with Robert Olivier. He's of course head coach for the Sevens side at Durban. We'll speak to Sean Gutu from Gardens Rugby side. They of course also did really well in the Sevens. And we'll speak to Andries Karstens from Durban, Sevens coach there. And of course Peter Links, head coach for Hands and Hearts. And of course you'll all know that Hands and Hearts ended up walking away with the title. So fantastic show lined up then this evening, and we'll also talk to Faisal Felton from Western Province Rugby, find out a little bit about what's happening now. We of course know that Western Province have got the Women's High Performance Coaching course happening this weekend. But on the line with me now, the current, or shall we say the new Score Western Province Club Rugby Sevens champions head coach Peter Links. Peter, nice to have you on the show, man. Yeah, good to see you again. How are things with you?
JP, thanks. Nice to be back. I'm fine.
Peter, congratulations. I suppose that's the first words that must come out of my mouth. Congratulations. You are now the Score Western Province Club Rugby Sevens champions. How does it feel?
Yeah, JP, nice. We had a highly frustrated 2 years where rugby had to take the backseat due to the setback of the pandemic. And I think the hunger brought everything to the fore, where we showed the talent that's in Hands and Hearts, especially in Kraaifontein community. So it's well done to the boys. They really did good. Hard work really paid off. We worked hard. Preparing for the Sevens, and everything went well. We had 2 pools where we win all our games, and the 3 games in the final we played against mighty Marties, and we show Marties how Hands and Hearts taste.
So Peter, just talk us a little bit through this process, because obviously you know, it takes a lot of training. You need a team that is able to gel with each other, and you obviously need to be quite fit. I mean, how did you guys get to this point? You know, like you mentioned, you played obviously in the matches in the 2 weeks that we had of Sevens leading up to this, but it didn't happen for you just by playing in those fixtures. You obviously managed to keep the guys active before the Sevens started.
Yeah, JP, we had hopes that the Score Sevens will come off. And so what we did is I opened the invitation to all the players, and we started about, say, 3 to 4 weeks before the competition started. When we started, there was not a definite that we will have the Sevens, but the players started coming out to the field. We had under 21, we had third team, we had second team players, and I had a group of almost 30 players. And I had to trim when Faisal, the union, informed us that the Sevens will take place. So we had to trim the team, and I worked with a group of 22 players. But unfortunately, we could only accept 15 because only 15 were allowed on the day. But we had a great mixture of experienced players and youth, inexperienced youngsters. We had about 6 under 20 players. That was also part of our group. And we worked really hard because we knew that if the opportunity is there, Hands and Hearts want to showcase their talent. And all of you know that there is talent in our club.
But title or no title, that was the real pleasure for us. It was watching Hands and Hearts, seeing the players, the familiar faces, and then of course watching you guys sing the song afterwards, which I think is, it's not what we do, it's how we do it. Yeah. That was for me an emotional moment. I've got a video, in fact, that I want to show you guys and we'll send to you. But that kind of, for me, really epitomized also the the spirit of club rugby. I mean, you could not get a better picture of the spirit of club rugby. The blend of youth and experience, players playing for each other, and then celebrating in the way that they did. I mean, you must be really proud of the guys.
Yeah, brotherhood, JP, nice spirit amongst the players. I actually used Anthony Taylor as a player coach. He actually assisted me, and that was something good for the players to work with the player himself, and the discipline were there. And I think because of that, that is why they did so good. And the hunger also, they were hungry just to be on the field, just to take part in the competition again. Yeah. And that is why we did so good. Yeah.
Let's take a look at the match between.
But the brother was there.
Let's take a look at the highlights of the match between Hands and Hearts and Stellenbosch. So, Peter, when we were looking at that game, which was, of course, the finals there between Hands and Hearts and Stellenbosch, and we know that Stellenbosch is a dangerous sevens rugby outfit, myself and Jerome Parvater were commentating on the game at the time, and it was really a challenge. I mean, this was a challenge between two giants. It was so exciting to watch the game, and it went back and forth almost very strategically. Is that what you expected on the day, that it was going to be so close?
Yeah, JP, I think when we played the semi-final against Hamilton's, and I used the motivation to the players that we're playing against a lot of ex-provincial players, you're playing against ex-Springbok Sevens players, and I think that was the motivating factor for them to do good. And in the final, I told them, listen here, it's not that we play against Maltese every day, because Maltese is a Super League A team, but now you can show South Africa that you are a better team. Just show Maltese that you can beat them. And when we started with the game, JP, it was all over. You can see them, they were positively switched on, and they couldn't wait for the game to start. And I think there was no more time left when we were 12-all, when we got the penalty, and that was it.
Peter, I think we're going to leave it there. I think from our side, again, congratulations, well done. I'm hoping that the players are all watching tonight, and from our side, it was great to not just see the rugby and the result, and that you guys took the you know, took the trophy home with you, but fantastic to see the spirit of the players in the team. And yeah, so again, as I said, you guys epitomized the spirit of club rugby, and well done, and please give our best to everybody.
Will do. Thank you, JP.
There we go, folks. Peter Links, head coach of Hands and Hearts Rugby Football Club, or the Rainbow Boys. And I think I'm just going to leave it there, because as I said, if you watched on the day and if you look at the videos, this is really what club rugby is about. But of course, to everybody at Hands and Hearts and the fans, congratulations, good result. Folks, when we come back from the break, we carry on taking a look at club rugby. We're going to speak to the rest of our coaches from the Score Sevens. Back in a sec. Welcome back, everybody. It's Cape Rugby TV. It's nice to have you along. We keep talking club rugby, and of course, as you know, tonight we have been focusing on the coaches from the Sevens rugby sides that have been playing in the Score Western Province Club Rugby Sevens. Of course, it's been quite an exciting time for a lot of the clubs, and after 2 weeks of round robin through the pool stages, the clubs eventually ended up at the Score Western Province Club Rugby Sevens. Sean Gutta is the Sevens head coach at Gardens Rugby Football Club. He joins me on the line now. Sean, how are things there with you?
Great, thanks. And how are you?
Not too bad. As we've been saying for quite a while now, we keep saying, well, we take it all one day at a time. Sean, let's start off. Gardens as a Sevens side, you must be very happy with your performance over the Sevens pool stages, and of course making it into the finals at Newlands.
Yeah, I'm very happy with the boys. I'm quite excited with the way the guys have played. From the way it go, we were not expecting us to be at Newlands, but finally with their hard work, we managed to be at Newlands.
But Sean, also tell us a little bit about that hard work. We know that you guys also played in a round robin match between Police and Fora before the Sevens, and quite a lot of people said that because you managed to play in that format, you were able to keep the players nice and fit.
Yeah, when it comes to 15s, it was good for the boys to keep fit. But you know, Sevens is a different rugby game, of which our guys were up for it. Thanks to Western Province for allowing us to play in the round robin that we played before the Sevens, of which it gave us the time for us to prepare towards the Sevens of Western Cape.
There definitely seems to have been quite a change in at Gardens Rugby Football Club. In the last 3 years, we've seen a lot of increase in performance in players. Obviously, we know that the last 18 months has been a difficult time, but Gardens really doing well as a rugby club.
Yeah, for now, we will say that we are doing well, but we are looking forward with the boys and the dedication that we do have. We're still recruiting more players. We have got a vision that we do have with the players and the management, that in 2024 we want to see Gardens coming back into the heydays where it used to be.
Sean, the pool stages, you obviously played in the round robin with Police and Fora before the tournament, but the pool stages, then when you got to the pool stages in the Sevens, there were quite a lot of teams that were really good teams, very highly qualified Sevens rugby teams. Gardens came through the ranks there. How tough did you find those pool stages?
The first thing that I say to the boys when we were in the pool stages, when we played at Hamilton's, that was the second week when we managed to knock out Debel. Now, when we managed Brackenfell, I mean to say, that's when I started giving confidence to the boys that we can do it. Because it was an achievement for us, because we thought maybe against Brackenfell it was going to be the end for us. But when we managed to beat Brackenfell, then we managed to see that there was light for us. One
of your big games was, of course, against Tigerberg, or former champions when you went into that match at Newlands. Let's take a look at some of the highlights from the match, and then you give us your thoughts.
Delicious.
So Sean, at Newlands, then of course, as we know, you ended up coming up against Tygerberg. Tygerberg, a very skilled outfit, but Gardens putting on a good performance.
Yeah, with Tygerberg, the first thing that I had to say to the guys, I just had to say, because it was after us losing the first game, then I told the guys to saying that if you really want us to play the last game, it's up to you guys. I have to put the confidence like the way we did in the pool stages. And for us, coming as victors against Tygerberg, it was an honor. And we respected Tygerberg very well. So we told the guys from the word go, they just need to stick to the game plan that we had. And when the final whistle came on, we couldn't believe it. And it was a huge celebration to us, of which it was more like a final to everyone when we played Tygerberg and knocking out Tygerberg.
Big result. Tygerberg's an impressive team. They're highly qualified, Super League A side, of course, a lot of experience. So congratulations, fantastic result, and the guys must be very happy with that. Final question, Sean. How did the players enjoy simply running out of the tunnel at Newlands and playing at Newlands?
Thank you so. Firstly, I would like to say thank you so much for us to win against Tygerberg once again. Then for the boys, for them to see running on the tunnel of Newlands, it was an honor. We saw most of our boys, they were like celebrating, and they were getting on the field with an excitement. It was a real achievement for the boys to be part of the setup of at Newlands on the final days of Touch Rugby.
So, Sean, we'll leave it at that. We'll say thanks to you for chatting with us, and we look forward to catching up soon.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate for the time. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Sean. There we go, folks. Sean Gutte, of course, the head coach at Gardens, and they've had a fantastic Sevens rugby season. Right, folks? Well, of course, as you know, on a weekly basis, we check in at MChem 24-hour pharmacy. Now, I must tell you, the last couple of days I've been spending quite a lot of time at MChem as we've been speaking to the staff at MChem Pharmacy. Of course, MChem is on the corner of N1 and Durban Road. They're open 24/7, 7 days a week, free parking, great coffee shop upstairs, a lot of clinics. There's an orthopedic section, there is a health and wellness section, there is a dispensary, and so many zones within MChem. But the fantastic thing about MChem over the festive season is the staff have made a pledge Mr. Malach have made a pledge. They've spoken about making sure that you, the customer, keep getting the gold standard, and the gold standard in products and the gold standard in service. And each one of the staff members made a pledge over the last few days that they will continue to stay open and look after you, the customer, over the festive season. It was fantastic to see the various words that came from the staff members as they each made their individual pledges that they and their teams in the various zones and departments at MChem 24-Hour Pharmacy will stay open. That is their promise to you, the customer, that they will stay open and look after you during the festive season and these very uncertain times. And there was a really nice touch to it, folks, in the sense that MChem Pharmacy understands that the public is going through a difficult time, an uncertain time, and that they will bring that comfort and stability to you by staying open and pledging to continue to look after you during the festive season. And that is really a nice touch from everybody at MChem Pharmacy. Folks, we'll leave it at that, and when we come back from the break, we'll carry on taking a look at what's happening in the world of club rugby. Back in a sec. Welcome back, folks. Cape Rugby TV. We keep talking about what's happening in the world of club rugby. It's fantastic to have you on watching the show tonight. Of course, for those of you that haven't been watching over the last few weeks, you will know that it was the score Western Province Club Rugby Sevens now recently at Newlands. Fantastic day, but of course in the build-up to that, the clubs were playing around Cape Town, and one of the parts that we didn't have a chance to do was catch up with the coaches. So today we're really spending the time catching up with the coaches from the various clubs that played in the Sevens. And of course, there were quite a few weeks building up to the Sevens. Robert Willifear is the Sevens head coach at Hamilton's Rugby Football Club. Rob, nice to have you on the show.
Yeah, James, thanks. Always awesome to chat to you and always awesome to be part of your show.
Yeah, we're sorry we didn't have an opportunity in the build-up to the... I mean, we of course managed to catch you behind the scenes on the match days, but we didn't have a chance to speak to you really at the draw, and of course on match days when things were so hectic. But just tell us a little bit about the club itself in terms of the build-up to the Sevens. I mean, it was great to see that you guys are active.
Yeah, it was awesome to have these players back at the club. It was awesome to be on the pitch. Some weeks we trained twice, some weeks we had to train 3 times a week. But the camaraderie and the effort of all the players were amazing. Yeah, Hamiltons were lucky. We hosted the 2 Saturdays building up to the final. 16 teams there. It was awesome to see the guys playing the game that they love, and also to see the enjoyment on everyone's faces. I think it was kudos to Western Province for pulling it off, and also for our club management and our manager, Uncle Derek. It was awesome.
Yeah, one of the things that, I mean, we got quite a lot of messages from people building up to the Sevens asking, is the game going to be broadcast? Is it going to be live? Clearly your supporters, your fans, you've managed to obviously stay in contact with them, and they've been following you proudly and have managed to also keep that momentum of supporting the club still during difficult times.
We have an unbelievable woman in our club, Ross Silke, and she punts everything on social media. I had people all over South Africa watching your live stream. They thoroughly enjoyed it. It would have obviously been the first prize if we could have had at least, call it 2,000 spectators at Newlands, but yes, our fan base, I can see it at Hamilton's especially, and I think for all the clubs, stuff like this, Western Province Score Sevens, it helps you grow this, it keeps the community involved, and as I say, it allows people from all over the country to see what's going on at our club.
Do you feel that some of the players at the club have become Sevens specialists? We know that obviously we think of over the years gone by, 15s rugby, but there seems to be a move that you know who your 15s, at least your 7 specialist players are.
Yeah, I was blessed. A lot of people said that that's easy to coach Hamilton 7 side. I have I had guys like Bernardo Botha and Elshon Bok, Henko Martens. These are guys that can teach me about sevens. What I can tell you is that we made 2 or 3 guys part of I already call it group that I had in mind, and from nowhere we brought in 2, 3 of our lower team players, and the progression and the growth that I saw over, call it 6 weeks in these players, that was phenomenal. I mean, guys that hardly knew each other's names now suddenly is the big mouth in the family, and is bringing the vibe. So I think that's why sevens is always a different culture. We see it on our national level as well. It's just it's an absolute family vibe, camaraderie, brotherhood, and these guys just tend to stick together, and hopefully we can take this, or we will take this over to the 15s and build on that.
Of course, you played 2 rounds in the build-up to the big day at Newlands, and then at Newlands it was, well, I must say, you know, even though we were streaming the match and we were broadcasting and concentrating on all those things, and probably still have quite a lot of work to do to make it nice. I'm sure some of your fans were sitting there going, what is going on here? What are these commentators saying? They don't know what they're talking about. You know, we're just trying to get the picture from the field to the fans and put it together. But looking at it was massively exciting. One of the big games that you played on the day was against Durbell. Let's take a look at the highlights from the Durbell match, and then you tell me about it. There we go, Robert. So Durbell and Hamilton's, you guys are used to playing against each other. We've seen Hammies and Derbies being sort of like head-to-head, top of the clash scenario for quite a while. Did you feel that was the case with the sevens?
Look, we invited Durbell even before we started training over for a training match for 2 hours. And I think we kind of adopted each other, and I think the fact that they also played at Hamilton's their first 2 rounds, it made it easier for us to know them and to see how they work. And then obviously we were both hoping to play each other in the final, not necessarily the third place.
Yeah.
But yeah, it happened. And look, Durbell is a good team, a very good coached team. Worlds of respect for Andries and Peter and what they did with those young guys. Yeah, it was a tough match. It was just something that I knew was going to happen. As I said, honestly, I hoped it was the final. But yeah, we came out victorious at the end of the day, and yeah, it is what it is.
But I think we will leave it at that, and we'll obviously say to you and to Ross, who's been so helpful at sending information all the time, and to the players and the fans, and that well done. And we're looking forward to, in this over this festive season, do our coaches table and captains table and bring you guys more into the studio to make sure that we keep connected until we get to the hopefully friendly fixtures next year.
Yeah, JB, thanks a million. What you guys are doing for club rugby in the Western Province is amazing. Yeah, on behalf of the club and especially the Sevens guys, we enjoyed seeing you around the field and enjoy hearing your voice, seeing Renzel up and down with a camera or two. And yeah, all the best for your time, and spend some time with your family and friends. May it be a festive one.
Thanks, Robert. You guys keep doing it. We'll keep following and talking about it. That's the deal. There we go, folks. Robert Willifeer is, of course, head coach at Hamilton's Sevens rugby side. And how fantastic was that to see the team in action at the Score Sevens. We'll take a break. When we come back, we carry on taking a look at what was happening on the day and catching up with some of the coaches. Back in a sec. Welcome back, folks. Cape Rugby TV. Great to have you along. Of course, we're super excited at the moment because we are catching up with our coaches from the Score Western Province Club Rugby Sevens. And if you watched on the live stream or the simulcast via Cape Town TV, then you would have caught some of the highlights. A lot of exciting games and certainly some really exciting teams that have come through the ranks as well, or should we say through the ranks, but managed to get into the finals at Newlands. Durban has been a challenger for a very long time. Durban Sevens team, a dangerous outfit on the best of days, as we know. We, of course, just spoke to Robert Willifeer from Hamilton's Rugby Football Club that ended up tackling Durban somewhere along the line. But Andries Karstens is the Sevens Rugby head coach. He's been on the show with us before. Andries, welcome back to Cape Rugby TV. Hoe lyk dinge daar, meneer?
Hallo JP, baie lekker om weer met jou te kan gesels. Gaan goed hierso, dankie.
Ja, het is lekker om vir jou op die show te hê. Ons het natuurlik lanklaas gepraat. Julle spelers is seker happy om op die park te gewees het.
Fantasties geweest, JP. Ons het so uitgesien om weer 'n bietjie te kan speel. En toe die nuus nou hier in Augustus kom dat daar kans is daarvoor, toe was die manne aan die brand gewees om te begin oefen. So ons het vroeg September begin en baie lekker oefeninge ingesit en fantastiese toernooi gehad.
Andries, wat jy nou sê is nogal waar. Ek meen die ouens wat wil 7 speel en dit lyk my almal wil 7 speel. Dis maklik om te speel. Dis wel, ek sou nie sê maklik om te speel, makliker van 'n organisasie point of view. Daar's middespelers onder die huidige omstandighede en natuurlik is dit nogal social en dis maklik om te kyk op TV. Dis vinnig om te sien dat ek meen almal wil 7 speel. Is dit wat jy al agtergekom het?
JP, definitief. Ons 7's het baie mooi gegroei by die klub die laaste paar jaar. Ons doen ook moeite om soveel as moontlik ouens te betrek. Ons het in 2 ander toernooie ook soms sosiale toernooie gespeel.
Ja.
So behalwe vir die 20 ouens wat in die score squad was daar, ek dink 17 ouetjies wat nog in ander toernooie ook gespeel het die laaste paar weke. So ons het amper 40 ouens gehad wat die kans gehad het om te speel. En dis wat jy wil doen. Jy weet, jy wil daai diepte bou, jy wil jou jong ouetjies kans gee om in te kom. Ons het 'n redelike sterk span gehad van jaar wat in score deelgeneem het. So daar, ek dink daar was net 420 ouetjies wat daar gespeel het, maar 17 ouetjies op ander plek ook kans gegee om te speel.
Jy het nou die woorde uit my mond uit gevra, want ek wou net gesê het, jy's natuurlik ook die afrigter vir die onder 20 span, en ek wou vir jou gevra het, jy so 'n paar van jou onder 20 spelers gesteel om in die span te sit.
Ja, dit was nou 'n bietjie moeiliker van jou, want die seniors wou so graag gespeel het. So die seniors was daar en hulle wou gespeel het, hulle wou deelgeneem het met die wat hulle nou maar min kon gespeel het van jaar. En ons het maar vir die onder 20's gesê, manne, julle moet nou beklei vir 'n plek. En daar was 4 wat gespeel het en hulle was van die staatmakers. Ek dink amper daar in die finale wedstryd het al 4 gespeel. So die ouetjies het mooi hulle hand opgesteek en baie tuis gevoel. Die senior spelers het hulle natuurlik baie welkom laat voel, wat ook gehelp het.
Andries, een van die games wat julle gespeel het, en natuurlik baie Nieuweland, was die wedstryd teen Gardens. Kom ons kyk gou na hierdie wedstryd, dan vertel jy 'n bietjie vir ons van die ander spanne. Folks, you're watching Cape Rugby TV. I've got Andries Carstens on the line with me. That was, of course, the match between Durban and Gardens. Andries, die wedstryd teen Gardens, ek meen die spanne teen wie julle nou gespeel het in die Sevens, daar was niks maklike wedstrye nie. Almal was nogal naby.
Verseker JP, ons het 'n lekker taai groep gehad, waarin ons gespeel het was Tygerberg, Bellville, wat twee sterk spanne is. Norwens was daar, Collegians het 'n lekker spannetjie gehad. So net in die groepfase het ons al 'n paar lekker kompeterende wedstryde gehad. En om dan nou by die uitklopfases teen Gardens te staan te kom, wat baie goed gedoen het in hulle groep. Jy weet, hulle het regtig waar goeie series gespeel.
Ja.
Hulle het op dieselfde plek ook daar by Hamiltons gespeel, terwyl ons daar gespeel het. Ons twee groepe het dit gespeel, so ons het gehoor, hierdie manne is gevaarlik. En almal is maar op hulle wees vir die eerste wedstryd van die uitklopfases. Jy weet, hoe gaan die manne, gaan hulle vandag aangeswiet wees en reg wees vir die wedstryd? Gelukkig baie goed gegaan. Ek dink julle daar gesien dat ons 'n goeie resultaat gekry het. Ongelukkig ons beste resultaat vir die dag. Ek sou graag wou gehad het ons sou moes voortgegaan het met daardie resultate.
Maar Andries, luister, ons los dit daar, so is lekker met jou te gesels. Ons hoop dat ons gedurende die vakansie nog steeds met jou kan gesels, want ons gaan die afrigters en die paar van die kapteine om die tafel laat kry, miskien om die virtual tafel, sodat ons kan net bietjie aanhou klub rugby gesels gedurende die vakansie, om almal in kontak met mekaar te hou.
Dit sal wonderlik wees. Ek dink as ek so 'n week sonder rugby is, gaan ek na enigiets verlang.
Dis presies daai, en ons weet hoe belangrik dit is vir clubs, vir atlete, om net aanhoudend gekoppel te bly, met mekaar daai passie te kan, want dit is amper asof mense raak depressed as hulle nie meer klub rugby kan praat nie. So, Andries, ja nee, baie dankie vir die geselsie. Ons sien uit om met jou en die res van die span oor die volgende paar weke meer te gesels.
Dankie JP en baie dankie vir julle wat julle gedoen het met die sewees. Sonder julle bydrae sou dit nie gebeur het nie, en julle het dit spesiaal gemaak vir die toeskouers om wel ook te kan sien wat gebeur. So baie dankie vir wat julle ook vir sewe stuur.
Ag, daai woorde, ons waardeer daai woorde baie, Andries, en soos julle moet ons ook match fix raak. Ons het ook ons hakkelplekke gehad daarso, maar dit was great om ten minste wat julle doen vir die fans te stuur sodat terwyl hulle nou nie daar kon wees nie, maar ja, ons gesels weer binnekort.
Baie dankie, JP.
Okay. Thanks, Andries. Andries Carstens, folks, of course, head coach, 7s and under 20s at Durban. They've had a fantastic season. Always great catching up with Andries. Brings the passion, always with a big smile. So, yeah, always good speaking there. And we'll be catching up with Andries again, hopefully, together with some of the coaches during the course of the next couple of weeks as we look at coaches and captains on Cape Rugby TV. Folks, of course, as you know, on a weekly basis, you can win yourself a case of Score energy drinks. Of course, Score, sponsored to the Score Western Province Club Rugby Sevens. Now, if you want to win yourself this case of Score energy drinks, as well as a set of masks, courtesy of CTC Sports, well, then all you need to do is go to our Facebook page, Cape Rugby TV, www.facebook.com/Cape Rugby TV, and come and enter our competition, where on a weekly basis what we do is we take one of the club logos, we make a few modifications, and we give you an opportunity to try and identify it. You've got to guess the logo. Well, every week we get so many responses. Everybody seems to know the club logos, and this week we took Hamadia's logo, made a few changes, and asked you to identify the logo. And of course, as usual, ton of responses. And this week's winner is Mutakin Hendricks. Mutakin, you walk away this week with a case of Score energy drinks, as well as a set of Cape Rugby TV masks, courtesy of CTC Sports. So Mutakin will reach out to you on Facebook Messenger. You can come and collect your Score energy drinks. There you see the Score logo behind me now. Folks, when we come back from the break, we carry on talking club rugby. Back in a sec. Welcome back, folks. Cape Rugby TV. We carry on talking about club rugby. Of course, our coaches from the Score Western Province Club Rugby Sevens then being the focus of tonight's show. And we will do that, in fact, also next week when we talk to some more of the coaches, and over the festive season where we talk to captains and coaches about their clubs over the next 4 weeks or so. So looking forward to still continuing to talk about club rugby. We keep talking about the passion of club rugby. That's really great. On the line with me now, Western Province Rugby's club rugby manager, Faisal Felden. Faisal, nice to have you back. How are things there with you?
Yes, good evening, JP. Good evening, listeners. It's always good to be back. All good on my side. I wouldn't say sort of slowing down a bit, but I think, sort of gearing now to a bit of a break. So pretty much looking forward to that.
Yeah, I mean, many people would think that you have to slow down, but we know that because we probably communicate with you quite a lot on what you guys are busy with, but you are very busy at the moment. There's still preparation, planning, education, activities at the Cape Town Stadium as well, of course, with the Stormers and so on. You obviously do have your hands full at the moment.
Yeah, no, I think, when you say slowing down and looking forward to a bit of a break, I think it's more about offices closing, but still continuing and going ahead. I think it's now the time where we sort of play a bit of catch up and try and catch up on some admin. And I think in terms of planning and preparation for next year, I think one of our challenges and discussion points for a lot of the clubs is how to manage in terms of, COVID and the current situation as it is. How do we get back to some sort of normality, having games and that there? So that's pretty much, time now during this period to think about it. We have communicated with clubs. We'll again communicate with feedback from clubs, because I think it's a joint, process that everybody needs to be involved in terms of how we can make it work and how best to make it work. So We've got about a month to go before we start again, with the, the fixtures and that. Clubs already have sent in, their requests with regards to matches for next year. So from my side, the fixtures have been done. But it's now trying to accommodate all those challenges that might happen, up until the season starts officially the first week in April.
Faisal, this weekend is a big weekend also for Western Province Rugby, especially from an education point of view. You've got the Women's High Performance Coaching course going into the next level now. Your previous, going back more than a year now, started with specifically for women, the coaching course, high performance, level 1. Now we go to level 2. Just tell us a little bit more about that.
No, definitely. I think, JP, I think where Western Province is, as far as women's rugby is concerned, there's been a lot of focus and support for the ladies. I think the last couple of weeks now, the tour to the UK, a lot of people have been exposed and have seen the ladies playing, and you'll see the talent. I think from Western Province's side, it's also the realization that a lot of the other provinces are, have catching up. So we need to now look at from our side in terms of how do we take the next step in terms of making sure, that there is some sort of a gap. So with this weekend coming, the focus is primarily now on our ladies in terms of coaching. And basically, the program started last year. So the idea is basically in terms of looking at ladies, fast tracking, trying to support, trying to give them a lot more, support when it comes to specifics and that there. And I think the one great thing is that, we've got our senior coaches, under 20, Jerome Barvarton, Nazim Adams, Wolfric Cupido, Jongi Nokwe, even like Samuel Malatsi, everybody's involved in terms of trying to see how we can work with these ladies. And I think that's ultimately where we want to be. We have the advantage, I think, when it comes to depth and numbers, but I think where we want to be in terms of a high performance, structure, organization that's where we're working towards. So this weekend is something new. I think it has, it hasn't happened around the country. So I think from our side, this is what, achievement that we definitely looking forward to, and looking at having a lot more female coaches that are actively involved at clubs and provincial level.
So there seems to be a good connection all the way through, because we also know that in terms of the YTC program, you've got a number of, and it's not just the number of festivals and success that you've had there, but you've actually shown the results, because it's you've had more than 7 under 15 girls taken up into the Western Cape side to go and play in the summer games. So you're getting success now at a junior level and at a senior level. And so there seems to be a good thread from the junior structures into senior structures.
No, definitely, JP. I think the one key thing from our side is that all the structures from junior level to senior level talks to each other. I think when we look at the high performance for the senior ladies, at the same time, we also have some of the junior coaches also part of the program. So the whole intention idea is to create the synergy from junior level all the way to the top. I think this last couple of months, we had a couple of the YTC programs happening. I must say the talent that we have is phenomenal. The amount of talent, the amount of girls that's there, that's available. From our side, we just need to make sure that there's support and there's at least a pathway. And I think the one thing that we were going to try and work hard on is making sure that there is regular fixtures and festivals and stuff that's happening. So these ladies and girls are active on a week-for-week basis.
Yeah. Do we have an indication yet, Faisal? I mean, is it a mixed variety? We know that some coaches want to coach 7s rugby, other coaches want to coach 15s rugby, some coaches want to focus on management or strength and conditioning. Are you starting to see a pattern yet?
I think from this weekend's course, basically they'll be doing a level 2. It's basically preparing them in terms of, level 2 qualifications, and then looking at the level 2.5, which Western Province offers, which is the next level in preparation for level 3. But I think from the program that we're going to be doing, coming this weekend, having the course and then taking it forward throughout the year, basically we will be having once a month, we'll be having workshops, we will be having practical sessions. I think from that sessions, the coaches will then be able to decide in terms of maybe where they fit in, where are the strong points, whether the forwards, whether the backline, whether they want to do 7s. Because the whole idea is that also with these coaches, we're going to be looking at the regional teams and assigning these coaches to specific teams and basically working with them. So it's all about, communication. It's all about in terms of, taking ladies by the hand and making sure that we have enough support. As I said earlier on, the great thing at Western Province is we've got support from the top level all the way down to the bottom. Jerome Pavard, the senior coach, so he's actively involved. Family Malatsi as well in terms of putting the program together. So we've got more than sufficient. And then also, the one thing I also forgot is, we've got the support coaches that assist and help, like Bola Conradi, Norman Judan, that's helping the ladies, on specifics when it comes to the players. the scrum masters, but also coaches, looking at specifics in terms of coaching as well. So that's quite exciting.
Faisal, I think we'll leave it at that. And I mean, obviously, there's a lot we can talk about, from referees to coaches to juniors to sevens rugby to touch rugby to 10s rugby to 15s rugby, Stormers, DHL, under 20s. I mean, there's so much that we can talk about. It's such a busy basket of activity, whether it is fixture related or not. We all, I think, have the big picture now that to keep all of those different departments and machines turning takes a serious amount of admin. But I think we will leave it at that, and we're of course now looking forward to see where it all goes. We'll keep following the progress, and definitely looking forward to catching up with the coaches this weekend when we get them on camera to find out what it is that they enjoy about rugby.
No, thank you, JP, and thank you to listeners. And I think, as you echoed earlier on, I think the key thing now is, it's not time to switch off. It's just time to, focus on what needs to happen for the new season. And I think from our side, we're looking forward to it. And I think all the best to everybody out there, those going on holiday, enjoy, the break. And as I said, we look forward to the new year, seeing you out in the new year.
Faisal Felton, folks, Western Province Rugby, Club Rugby Manager, certainly exciting. We're looking forward to finding out then what happens this weekend at the coaching course. We'll be down there. We'll catch up with some of the women on the high performance course, and looking forward to see what comes next. Folks, that's a wrap from us then this evening. We will leave it at that, and we will say to you, have a safe weekend, and we'll catch you again next week when we carry on talking club rugby. A fantastic rugby weekend. Bye-bye.